Need tips for using your Amazon Alexa? Join Lucy on All About Lady A on the second Thursday of the month for simple tricks to get the most out of your A-Lady device. Listen on the Unmute Presents podcast feed. See you there. Oh yeah, did I mention? You can also check out unmute.show for all past episodes and to get more information about what we've got going on. Hey, Michael here, and welcome to Digital Bytes. Today I want to talk to you about a device that I kind of have mixed feelings about, but I think it's really interesting to see it come to fruition. So there is a service, Demasi and I talked about it on last week's Technically Working, and tomorrow's Technically Working. I give you a little bit more in-depth details about my thoughts regarding the B Pioneer device, located at BEE.computer. That's Bravo Echo Echo.computer. At BEE.computer, you can get information about the B Pioneer device. You can also learn how to download the app that you can use if you don't want to purchase the device and use your Apple Watch. Now, I've seen mixed information about a subscription. At this time, it does not require a subscription that I was able to determine. You can purchase the B Pioneer device. I'll give you a brief rundown of what it is here shortly for $49, and it shipped to me and I received it within a week of me ordering it. When you download the B application, which is only currently available on the iPhone, you're prompted to sign in with Apple, which had me feeling pretty good in the beginning, letting me know that my email address would be anonymized, and I was able to delete that email at any point if I wanted to as well. The B application will allow you to install a companion app to your Apple Watch, and you have the ability to log into the companion app and start processing of audio around you. The B Pioneer device means that you don't have to use your Apple Watch, because I'll be honest with you, it does eat through the battery of the Apple Watch quite quickly as well. The B Pioneer device is a rounded end rectangle. I guess you would call that an oval with a single button on it. The single button has a couple of purposes. You can press and hold it and speak to your B assistant. If you press the button once, by default, the B Pioneer device will do fact check. I'm not quite sure what fact checking means. I just know that my phone kept saying no relevant factual information found. It took me a little while to realize that. You can go into the B application and change the setting of a single press of your action button. Press and hold to toggle the mute, and if you want it to be muted or not. Unfortunately, there is no way from the device to accessibly know if the device is recording/processing conversations. However, you can go into the B application and get the information right there. Double press the action button to trigger the assistant that is very limited. I see the potential in it, but right now it's probably not the best use of the double press of a button. The last thing that I'll mention about the B application, and then we'll talk briefly about the summarized conversations that were available, is you can connect B to your Google account, which means you can give B access to your Gmail and you can give it access to your calendar. When the application is processing your day and providing you a summary, it'll also include pertinent information about emails you might have received and give you the ability to set up reminders so you can remind yourself to reach out to that person. So how does B work? If you are unmuted, which means that either your Apple Watch is capturing audio or your B Pioneer is capturing audio, then the B system will make a summary of your day and provide you that information. It can process conversations, and I learned that you can set it to have a single press of the button to process the conversation versus checking for facts when you're using the B Pioneer. You do need to go into your settings and make those changes. The app itself was fairly accessible. There were some wonky labels throughout the app, but it was definitely usable by a VoiceOver user. And there were some unlabeled buttons. However, those buttons appeared to have been labeled further into the application, past those unlabeled buttons. So it's one of those type of applications. I did not fully explore some of the features of the B application, but for my initial test for $49, I was surprised with what accessibility was actually included in the device. Now, why aren't I wearing this right now, and why isn't it on my wrist? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, I noticed it was processing conversations that I didn't think that it would have heard. And the primary reason isn't because I was concerned about the microphone or whatnot, but it was because I didn't always pull my phone out to check to see if the device was processing conversations or not. I did run it for about 18 hours, and I used about 10% after that 18 hours. So I'm fairly confident it'll last for quite a while, but the problem that I ran into was I, again, didn't want to always take out my phone to see if it was processing audio, and there was no haptic vibration to let me know if it was muted or unmuted when I pressed and held on the button itself. Is B worth it? I would say probably if you need something to keep track of conversation/to-dos. It was convenient to raise my left wrist and say, remind me tomorrow at 9 a.m. that I need to do this without even having to say a wake word or anything like that because the B was always listening. I found the concept of the B service to be very interesting. Do you have a concern about where it is that the data is going to? Wish that there was a way for me to quickly determine if it was capturing audio. Maybe when I press the button on the Pioneer device, my phone makes a brief sound or vibration to let me know that this action has been triggered. But for the most part, if you need a tool to help you with keeping track of meetings and you're aware of when it is you're recording, the BEE.computer is a great solution for you. And at this time, it's fairly affordable too.
Hey all, Marty here. And have you ever been in a situation where you needed to find out what your Wi-Fi password is, the network that you're on? So the way you do this is you go into settings, then you go into Wi-Fi, and then the network that you're connected to is going to be at the top of the list. You go into that, and then you'll see at the very top password, and it's going to have all of those dots in a row and not show you what the password is. If you have VoiceOver on, you do a single finger double click, and it will open that up. You authenticate with whatever your device's password is, and then it will show you the password. And there you go, an easy way to figure out what the Wi-Fi password is on the network that you're currently on.
Hi everyone, it's Chris, and I have 2 really short tips for you today. I just wanted to remind you that if you find a button that kind of says something ridiculous in an app that you're in, you can always relabel that button. So I am in my Instant Brand Connect Instant Pot app. And so on the screen, when I bring up a list of recipes,
button, search.
It has a search button, but to the left of that,
arrow.back button.
It has this arrow.back button. And I think that's a little bit too much verbiage. So there's a way that you can definitely label this button to just say back. And so you could do a 2-finger double tap and hold. Now, that is a little bit fiddly for some people because it takes some extra coordination, but it can be done. If you're using a Braille display, you can press the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 spacebar. So in other words, the contraction for and the spacebar, and you get an edit box where you can actually relabel this. So I'm going to do that now. I'm using my Braille display.
Keep alert, label element.
Label element. Okay, if I go to the right.
Text field is editing, arrow.back, insertion point at end.
Okay, so I'm actually going to just remove the word
period.
The period and the arrow.
Delete out, delete period.
So now it just says back.
Delete back.
Okay, so now what if I go to the right?
Clear text, button.
I don't want to do that.
Cancel, button.
I don't want to do that either.
Save, button.
There is the magic save button, so I'm going to do that.
Save. Back button.
And now it simply says back button. So it's really great to be able to label a button that is unlabeled or that has a ridiculously long label. The other tip that I'm going to share with you is unrelated, but it does have to do with something very handy that I didn't know about that I learned recently. I am on a board and I needed to review someone's application. And so it came to me in a PDF. Did you know that if the PDF is an image that was scanned, of course, you could recognize it with some OCR programs, like I know VoiceStream does that. You could save it to VoiceStream, and then it could be recognized there, and you could find it. But I find it's hard to locate those PDFs that it scans or recognizes for me. So buried down in the share options after I opened the PDF was to recognize with Seeing AI. And I thought that was just great. So I chose that option. It opened the document. It scanned it perfectly or virtually perfectly. And then it would allow me to go on to the next page. So when I read the first page, there was a next page button and a next page button. So scanning or recognizing with Seeing AI is definitely an option that you can choose. So there are your 2 tech tips for Digital Bytes.